Now, for your first time on a hoverboard, it could be tough to find your balance. I know I had a hard time getting the hang of it. So don't be afraid to ask a friend for a helping hand if you don't get it right away. I'm here at the polling station at 3rd Avenue and Fillmore, and literally voters are camping out. The Coyotes are trying to grow that fan base with a new program launched on Friday that targets younger fans. Iowans will flock to more than 1,500 precinct locations across the state tonight to caucus for their favorite presidential candidate. Technology allows students and tutors to interact with typical classroom tools, much like a whiteboard, all while using a computer. APS says it expects over 100,000 people will come and watch the roads of the valley light up. In downtown Phoenix, Jackie Padilla, Cronkite News.
When I lost absolutely everything, I had nothing left. I didn't have dignity. I didn't have respect for myself. I hated who I saw in the mirror.
3 years ago, Sarah Harmon says her life was at an all-time low. Her addiction to methamphetamine consumed her.
Every time I put that meth pipe to my mouth, I would have that moment of, why am I doing this?
The Drug Enforcement Administration says the use of meth in Arizona has dramatically increased over the last few years, adding that just this year, over 6,000 pounds of the stimulant have been seized.
Arizona is a huge spot for bringing stuff in, breaking it apart, sending it throughout the United States. That's what Arizona is a hub for.
The amount of meth in Arizona has gone up 294% since 2010, and its presence proves to be basic economics.
The user demands it, the Mexican cartels will provide it.
Kim Haney used to be a postal worker and says smoking meth became a part of her daily routine.
So I would wake up in the morning and hit the pipe, and I would take a bunch of dope with me to work. I'd probably stop 2 times a day, maybe 3 times a day, to get high during my work day.
Now, almost 8 years sober, Haney is a manager at Mandalay Recovery Village in Phoenix. So out of this whole list, what do you think is the most important one, or one that really stands out to you?
The most important is this one, but then the most important is this one. This is where, after you've gotten better, you help another alcoholic or addict.
Jamie Bourne, who is also a former addict, says it's easy to relate to people struggling with addiction.
If you put me in a room of 100 people and one other person in that room was addicted, I would find that person and like that.
Addict, a word Sarah's mother never thought she'd associate with her little girl.
It's more fun with the Girl Scouts, and such a big, genuine smile. She's got such a great heart.
But then came the startling truth.
My stomach just sank. It was a moment of panic of, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's this.
Sarah says when she was homeless, she used to loiter at this intersection, hoping to score enough cash for her next fix.
Had to tell her, I can't watch your life spin out of control. I cannot watch you kill yourself.
I finally realized I needed help. I just didn't know how to get it. Some friends of mine actually came down to Phoenix, picked me up, and brought me up here to Chapter 5. That was almost 3 years ago, and I'm so grateful because I was gonna die.
Now, Sarah is in Prescott, living a sober life.
When I was homeless, I would beg for the most boring life. I'd be like, gosh, I just want to go home and read at night and go to bed at like 8:30, you know, and that's what I do now.
Thanksgiving is just a couple of days away, and I found a farm that's bringing local and organic ingredients to your holiday meal.
It's Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving has to have turkeys.
That's what Kylie is having for her Thanksgiving feast. And the farm at Agritopia in Gilbert knows what it takes to bring the traditional bird from farm to table. Farmer Eric Schultz says these turkeys were raised with the customer in mind.
Really what we're trying to do is just feed our community the most nutrient-dense, healthy, organic food that we can.
Schultz says an organic diet, allowing them to roam free and not using any fillers, is what sets them apart from industrial turkeys.
You know, there's going to be a lot of variance in the size from one turkey to the other.
And while you may have to spend a little more, Schultz says the overall quality of the meat is well worth it.
Once you try a heritage breed pasture-raised, you really people don't go back after that.
Experts say factory turkeys are still safe to eat, But there are some things you should look for.
You can look on the label and it will state whether or not the turkey has received any antibiotics or hormones.
But no matter where you buy your bird, Kylie says a good turkey is something to gobble about.
I'm not like alien. I am not somebody who is just from another world. I'm a human being.
A human being who spent time in 6 different concentration camps in Bosnia. Dr. Asad Boskailo remembers his journey as a refugee.
I was an angry guy from concentration camp. I didn't really think what is United States going to offer to me. I was thinking, how am I going to survive?
According to the Department of Economic Security, 70,000 refugees like Boskailo have made their way to Arizona since 1978. Nearly 4,000 refugees came to the state last year, putting Arizona 6th in the nation for number of people relocated. After being forced to leave his country, Boskailo says he put mind over matter.
And the motivation to get back to my previous life, being physician, being family member, being father, husband, community member.
There are 4 resettlement agencies in the state, but with such a high demand, families are only given the bare essentials. That's when nonprofit organizations like the Welcome to America Project step in to provide more support.
An important aspect of the work that we do is that we provide a warm welcome to the refugees. There's a lot of items that they need, things for their house, clothing for their families, hygiene products, everything that you would need to turn a house into a warm, comforting place that you can really call home.
This family fled from dangerous political conflicts 15 years ago in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Now they're settling into their new home right here in the valley with help from volunteers.
We don't have any clue about the neighborhood, and we can't drive. If we have to go somewhere, we have to call people for help.
Now their next step is to find a job and start making their own income.
There is no state money that goes to refugees for their resettlement. That comes from the federal government for a very short period. So refugees are only supported 3 to 6 months at the most.
But language barriers prove to be the most frustrating part of it all. The Refugee Women's Health Clinic treats women from 49 different countries and offers interpreters to help doctors and their patients communicate. Muwana Idi Badamuriza, a refugee from Rwanda, settled in Arizona in 2010. She and her husband wanted to start a family.
Because without interpreter, I can't understand the doctors. You see how I speak my English? It's no good.
A thyroid problem was keeping her from getting pregnant, which she discovered through her doctor with help from an interpreter.
After 6 months, I get pregnant. I thank my doctor and my interpreter. I have 3 girls. I thank God.
According to the U.S. Department of State, in order to take part in the resettlement program, a person must prove fear of persecution involving religion, race, and nationality. With the investigative team, Jackie Padilla, Cronkite News.